This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
And it's shining through. They say you're beautiful and damn it's true. You know I wouldn't wanna lie to you, so trust me when I say yeah, 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 yeah. I found love and I live for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I found love and it's all for you. Wanna run into the dark with you, light it up and let it start anew. We'll find the spark inside my dying soul. Just stay with me until we're growing old. Got the light and it's shining through. They say you're beautiful and damn it's true. You know I wouldn't wanna lie to you, so trust me when I say love and I live for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I found love and it's all for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I found love and I live for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I found love and it's all for you.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
Hello, and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. Phonetically, that's Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November, and I'm Net Control. This is a casual conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general. Thankfully, we have plenty of combined expertise and experience. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative 600 kilohertz offset, meaning you transmit on 144.890 or 448.025. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? You can contact us via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com or hamlearningnet@groups.io. We also post info on groups.io/g/ham learningnet, as well as stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/WEREGR8. You can also search for W0TX or K1DBC and you should be able to find it. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo. AA 0 JK. Good evening.
Drone, I don't know if I qualify, but I'm going to do it anyhow. Alpha Echo 0 Golf Quebec. AE 0 GQ Tom.
All right, hey, no problem at all. Feel free to check in as an Elmer any given time you like. No pressure at all. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following Elmers. AA 0 JK Fred and AE 0 GQ Tom. Thank you both for checking in. One more time, if you'd like to check in as an Elmer with or without traffic, please check in now. All right, all other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the first letter after the number in your call sign. If you can, please try to use I2 phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Whiskey 0 Bravo Kilo Sierra Park in Wheat Ridge with traffic.
Good evening, Daron. Tom, K6HJV, Kilo 6 Hotel, Juliet Victor, no traffic.
Alpha Fox 0 Echo, Alex Bromfield.
W0TX Repeater.
Kilo Sierra 0 Echo, Alex Denver.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. W0BKS Barb with traffic, K6HJV Tom, AF0E Alex, and KS0E Alex. One more call. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
November 0 Foxtrot Alpha Kilo Rich.
W0 Foxtrot Charlie Jerry, no traffic.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, no traffic.
TF0AWC, Alpha Whiskey Charlie, Brian, Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. Net Control acknowledges and welcomes the following check-ins: N0FAK Rich, W0FFC Jerry, WD0CIV Charles, and KF0AWC Brian. Thank you all for checking in. We'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. This is K1DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all calls, A through Z. Please let us know if you can try to use IT Phonetics as you check in, and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo, Jim in Littleton with traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra Kid at Broomfield. No traffic.
November 0, X-ray, Romeo X-ray. Mark in Arvada, no traffic.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hold up there for a moment. Net Control acknowledges and welcomes the following check-ins: KE0NRE Jim with traffic, KE0SUM Jonathan, N0TRP Jim, K0YES Ken, and N0XRX Mark. Thanks for all for checking in. All right, I'll make another call. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the counter, if you have any traffic or questions, we're taking all call suffixes. Please check in now with your name, call sign, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please check in now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check in at any given time in the net, feel free to do so at any given lull in the conversation. But I will take official check-ins throughout the net as well. So I guess with that, we'll throw it over to Barb, W0BKS with traffic. The net is yours. Once more, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. Barb, W0BKS with traffic. Go ahead. Okay. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll come back to Barb here in just a bit. We'll go ahead and throw it over to Jim, KE0NRE with traffic. The net is yours.
Thank you, Daron. My question is regarding some of the operating practices on field day. I don't know if anybody was out there participating, but I wondered, apart from making sure that at a particular site no two operators are transmitting on the same band at the same time, did anyone use another approach, for example, using selective filters on their receivers to eliminate interference from another operator in their group operating on a different antenna a few hundred feet away? Back to net, KE0NRE.
Great question there, NRE. This is K1DBC. We kind of did the first thing where we had separate radios working on separate bands. But the club does have some filters. WW0LF Orlin, he was showing me them. I can't remember what they're called, what type of filters they are, but It allows for several similar bands to be worked closely, filtering out certain things. And I forget what the name of those types of filters are. But that was how we operated, was separate bands closely together worked. If anybody knows those types of filters or what those are, let me know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I can't remember what type of, maybe it's a band stop filter. I can't remember what Orland said, but the club does have some, and we'll have to try to implore them. We have to try to use them in the future because it might make things easier. But field day went really, really well. We got a bunch of photos and things up on Google Drive. So if you were there, feel free to contribute to that and put them up on there, and we'll put them into in a video. So with that, I'll throw it back to you, Jim, KE0NRE. This is K1DBC.
Thanks, Daron. I looked around on the internet, of course, and I found a couple of novel approaches that had to do with using shortened T sections of transmission line to perform notch filtering. If you knew that another operator was going to be working on a particular frequency in a particular band, I think it works in theory. I just wondered if it worked in practice and whether it was worth trying to do something like that next time around. But I'll continue to pursue it and let you know if I try it and how it works. Thanks very much. It's KE0NRE, back to net.
KS0E.
All right, sounds good there. Yeah, I think it may have been notch filter. KS0E, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I can shed some light on that. Mark and I were working 15 years in his portable shack there, and we were trying to use the notch filters that they had on hand, and that's exactly what it was. It was a length of cable that was coiled up, and then you used a T adapter or T connector, I don't know what you call it, but a three-way coax connector. We did not have any luck whatsoever with that method, and to be fair, I don't think either of us knew that we were doing it 100% right, but it seemed like we were. So something to consider. I think we kept joking that the club ought to shell out for some real bandpass filters next time we do this. But that was our experience. You know, I'm sure it works if you've got the right filter and you know what you're doing, but it was definitely a struggle. KS0E, back to net.
W0TX repeater.
Perfect. Thanks there, KS0E, Alex. It's K1DBC Net Control. Yep. Real quick here, notch filter, also known as a band stop filter, is defined as a device that rejects or blocks the transmission of frequencies within a specific frequency range and allows frequencies outside of that range. They eliminate transmission of a narrow band or of frequencies and allow transmission of all that frequencies above or below. It's essentially a band stop filter with a narrow stop band and two pass bands. So really, really cool stuff. Yeah, we'll have to try to use something like that in the future. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Good conversation here. I'll try to show off some photos here of field day. But does anybody have any other comments, questions in regards to notch filters or field day? I'll probably talk a little bit more about field day here in a bit. But please call now.
W0VKS. I just wanted to say how wonderful it was to see familiar faces again, and all of them happy. Everybody busy doing their radio stuff, and I'd like to hear more about the statistics. I know we did quite a few radio connections, and I'd like to hear more about that. W0BKS, back to net.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, thank you so much for your help over the weekend, Barb, as well. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, it was really nice to see everybody. Yeah, so here's some statistics. Again, this is in the Google Drive, too. This is what we gathered from our logging software, N3FJP, as well as some of the ARL points. So in total, we made 282 contacts over, it looks like, 3 bands, 40, 20, and 15. 74% of those came from 20 meters, 18% from 40, and 8% from 15. Total contacts by session, highest was 28% in northern Texas, followed by Ohio, Michigan, Oklahoma, Colorado, Illinois, Missouri, and so on. There's quite a few others. Total contacts by states, yeah, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Oklahoma, California. Let's see, countries, we hit a lot of the U.S., some Canadian contacts, as well as we had an Alaska contact, which was really, really awesome. What else here? Yeah, there's a little bit more info. I guess preliminary total score for ARL points would be 1,474 points, including all of our contacts, emergency power, public location, and a few other things. So that's kind of some of the contacts, some of the statistics for our fielding. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess while we're on there, this is more visual than on the radio, but I'll try to describe this here a little bit. So I'll go through some of the photos that we have here. Myself, Barb, and Jim K0TRR, we picked up the Salvation Army vehicles Friday afternoon, and they did an incredible job of getting food and things packed up, which was really, really nice. We were able to get on the road, parked overnight, and then starting around 7 a.m., a few group of people started to erect the antenna and mast. So a lot of help, a lot of things to set up. Operations began at 12 p.m. on Saturday. We used these older Toughbook laptops with the software on them, and we had set up some radios. Mark N0XRX, who's with Denver Water, was able to bring out quite a lot of equipment as well, which is really, really nice, handy to have. Another tower, crank-up tower. Saturday, just after things began, it really began to rain and come down. So even during those operations, though, we still were operating during those conditions. So really interesting to see that. What else? Yeah, a lot of antennas, a lot of equipment, a lot of good visitors, despite the weather. Looking at a microwave link here that Mark's had set up for internet access, which was awesome. And yeah, come Sunday, much better weather. A lot of turnout, a lot of young men and young women, and a lot of youth. Really nice to see people trying to operate and get on the air. Let's see what else here. Let me drop here for a moment. Yeah, Jim K0TR and Barb W0BKS, they helped to man the canteen vehicle and serve food throughout the weekend, so that was great to have as well. Really nice benefit of having that vehicle is we don't have to leave for food, and makes operations a lot smoother. So yeah, if you have any photos, any pictures, any videos that you took, please feel free to upload them to the Google Drive. We're looking at the 20-meter station here, which is a Yaesu FT-DX10. A member let us use that, which was really, really awesome. It has a nice waterfall display here. And yeah, a lot of equipment, a lot of fun, a lot of good operations. So with that, I guess I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody have any comments, questions, anything in regards to Field Day while we're on there? Go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. With that, I guess I'll throw it out to the net. I don't know if you had anything else, Barb, you wanted to bring up. I couldn't catch you the first time, but if you or anyone else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far, please call now. All right, once more, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Open conversation about ham radio, electronics, anything you'd like to bring up, please let us know. Please call now.
A0GQ comment on the filtering.
Yeah, AE0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
I was doing a little spelunking. The IEEE, yeah, there's people that use transmission line filters, but they tend to be, 1 gigahertz and above to be effective, and they tend to be more strip line type things. However, there are some uses from what I could see. There isn't a lot of information on in the IEEE database about HF transmission line filtering. Going to take a break. But I wonder about the effectiveness. Just for the heck of it, I did a quick check with creating a 5-order Chebyshev, which means basically you got 3 coils and 2 capacitors on the thing, setting it with a cutoff frequency of 7.125 megahertz, which of course is the break between the CW and the phone portions of the band. And even with that, it was barely down 3 dB at the bottom of the band. So I don't know that it would actually cut off enough signal from somebody else transmitting in the same band that it would do you any good at all. I know that a lot of people use filters for, when you have somebody doing 40 meters right beside somebody doing 20 meters or whatever, that sort of thing I can understand. There's enough rejection there. But I don't think you got a good enough filtering system that you could have 2 people operating in the same band if they were close enough to interfere. AE0GQ.
W0TX repeater.
Perfect. Thank you there, AE0GQ. Tom, thanks you for the follow-up on that. Yeah, I'm trying to follow along here, but as you mentioned, I'm looking up Butterworth filters here, and Chebyshev is come up on there, as well as some other filters. A lot of interesting things there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see the effectiveness of that.
rf-tools.com/LC-filter, you'll come across a very nice little LC filter design tool, AE0GQ.
Perfect. Thanks. I'm looking up that right now. Very, very cool. I think K0NRE, Jim, had something there. Go ahead.
Thanks, Daron. Sorry for the double. I had a question about grounding on the station for field day. I was looking through the AARL book on bonding and grounding, and while they make a point of saying that bonding your equipment when you're operating off of batteries is a very good practice for RF reasons, they really didn't say anything about deliberately grounding a battery-operated station when you're running a dipole antenna. Of course, you've got to do something like that if you're going to run a single-ended vertical or some other highly unbalanced antenna. But I just wondered, what's the best practice with regard to grounding if you're going to have a battery-operated station running into a dipole? Back to net, KE0NRE.
Good question there. Anybody have any comments on that? I thought I had seen a ground rod for our tri-beam antenna, and I know Mark had put up a vertical dipole, I think. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember what grounding was on that, but If anybody has any follow-up on that is in regards to battery-operated operations and grounding, go ahead.
At the risk of doing something horrible, AE0GQ.
Hey, no problem. AZ or GQ, go ahead.
3 kinds of grounds: RF, safety, and lightning. And the business about bonding is strictly for RF. That gives you the shortest path, and that keeps RF off of you, which is rather painful. Safety, well, you're running off a battery, so it's kind of hard to worry about whether you got a path back from the neutral back to ground through you. So I think you can pretty well blow off the safety part of it. Lightning is still there, and that obviously is important. However, if you're running portable, chances are you're probably throwing a wire over a tree, and you can probably get that down before lightning starts coming. At least I would hope you would do something like that. However, an RF ground is not a bad idea at any time, and people will often drop an RF ground, even though you're running a dipole. I understand that, but it still will help it will help maintain your station at a level that matches the actual ground, so you're going to have fewer problems with your transmission line, with your coax. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. AE0GQ.
Perfect, AE0GQ. Thank you for the follow-up on that. Yeah, the different types of grounding and different necessity for it as well, safety, lightning, and RF grounding. Thank you for the follow-up on that. Yeah, and I know Fred has mentioned in the past the ARL publication, Grounding and Bonding, is a really good publication to read through to get some information on that. So, yeah, thank you very much on that. Okay, no problem, Tom. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control, KE0NRE. Hopefully that somewhat answers your question there a little bit. If you have any follow-up on that, go ahead.
KE0NRE. I appreciate the advice. It's hard to tell from practical experience whether things are necessary and working or unnecessary and didn't need to work. If the outcome was good, you kind of incorporate it into standard practice, whether you need to or not. So I appreciate the advice, and I'll be sure to take all the necessary precautions and maybe some unnecessary ones as well. Thanks very much. Back to net, KE0NRE.
All right, sounds good there, NRE. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I'll just take this opportunity to take official check-ins. Let me drop here for a moment. If you've just tuned in, my name is Daron. That's Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar, November. Call sign Kilo 1, Delta Bravo Charlie. I'm Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for radio amateurs seeking help, and Elmers is giving their time to help us. Everyone is welcome to join in. If there's anyone who wishes to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign using I2 Phonetics if you can, and state your name, and if you have any traffic or questions for the net, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Papa November. This is Jeff in Evergreen. No traffic, just tuned in a few minutes ago. KF0 BPN.
All right, sounds good. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-in. KF0 BPN. Jeff, thanks for tuning in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more at the moment, if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net with or without traffic, just to check in or whatever you'd like, please call now. All right, and online, a good reminder, if you aren't in front of a radio or can't reach the repeater, you're more than welcome to check in on the YouTube chat, and I'll get you checked in. Speaking of which, I had KE0OIT, Mike, checking in there. Got you checked in.
Whiskey Bravo 4, Hotel Zulu Alpha, John in Lakewood.
All right, and that time we had WB4HZA. John, thank you for checking in. All right, well, I'll do one more call if you'd like to check in. Feel free to use this opportunity to do so. You're more than welcome to check in at any given time, a lull in the conversation. But if you'd like to check in, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I don't see anybody else indicated they have any traffic or questions, but I'll throw it back out to the net. Does anybody have any comments, questions, any other check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far? Please call now.
W0TX Repeater.
All right. If you are watching YouTube, I'm bringing up some of the videos and photos from Field Day. Again, we do have a Google Drive. I will post a link to that here in a minute. If you did take any photos or videos, please feel free to post it to that, and that way we can get things piled together and probably get a video compiled. So, all right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, anybody have any other further comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, listening.
Yeah, this is a good one here. Freaking downpour, and they're still operating. Love it. All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-in. KF0FPI. I didn't catch your name, but I will be able to find that here in a second. All right, sorry about that. I got Evans checking in. Thanks for checking in, just for listening. Okay, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. I can bring some things up, but I'll throw it back out to the net once more just at the moment. We have about a half hour left here in the net. If you have any comments, questions in regards to electronics, s.t.e.m, any projects you're working on, any questions you're working on, let us know. I don't know how you can work on a question, but...
Question?
There we go. That's how you work on a question. Yeah, go ahead with the question.
WB4HZA, I have a question concerning what would be considered a horizontal V end-fed dipole. I know that if you have a typical inverted V, the pattern tends to be somewhat omnidirectional. But I'm just wondering if you have a horizontal V where everything is pretty much at the same elevation and you're end feeding it, is there any directionality on that kind of antenna? Over.
Just some preliminary searches. It looks like a horizontal view can be very directive if it's a few wavelengths long. It's essentially half rhombic. And if you do such a thing, you want to be sure it's pointed in the right direction to get you going good there. So I don't know much more about the horizontal V end-fed antennas. If anybody has any other comments on that, go ahead.
Comment KE0NRE.
Yeah, KE0NRE. Jim, go ahead.
I've got a little bit of practical experience with that, just building a dipole in the backyard and trying to do some simulations on it with EasyNEC or 4NEC 2 software. And what I discovered is that, yes, there is some directionality in the direction of the away from the apex or away from the point of the V in the opposite direction, but it's not a very great effect. It may be 1 or 2 dB, and as you bring the two arms of the dipole closer and closer together, then the gain of the antenna drops dramatically, and you lose any benefit of directionality or gain at that point. Back to net, KE0NRE.
All right, thanks there, NRE. This is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. Okay, thank you so much for the follow-up there. I think there might have been somebody else trying to get in there, too. If you had any other comments, questions on that, go ahead. Anybody else?
This is John again. Thank you very much for that explanation. Is the directionality from the back of the V, in other words, where the two lines cross and then towards the ends, is that the directionality you were referring to? Over.
That is correct. From the junction or the bend of that V, I'm assuming you've got a dipole with a feed point at that point, and the gain is directed out towards the open portion of the V, and of course it's reduced a little bit on the backside. Back to net.
Excellent, perfect. That was the answer I was looking for. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks there, K0NRE, for the follow-up on that, and WB4 HEA for the question. Yeah, glad we could get that answered. All right, anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Anything we've spoken about so far? Anything else? Please call now. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. Again, I can pass a few bits of traffic if you'd like, but if you have any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else at the moment, please let me know.
Since it looks like we've got a little bit of a break, I do have one other question, and maybe some of the other hams can answer this. Typically, on your ground system, what type of ohm rating are you looking for? I've got one of these clamp-on, I guess they're called Megers, and I'm just wondering typically what type of resistance do you usually look for out here in the Rocky Mountains? Over.
AE0GQ.
Great question there. AE0GQ. Go ahead.
Don't sweat the ohmage. That is DC, and your biggest problem is going to be the RF resistance. Yeah, you like to have that fairly low. That's more for a safety ground type thing. But what you're really mostly concerned with is going to be the impedance, not the resistance. So if you go ahead and drive your standard 8-foot in, provided it's not in sandstone or something wonderful like that, it's more your bigger concern is that you're using something like strap or something like that to get down to it. And remember, let it drop for a second. You can run into a situation where the run of your ground wire down to your grounding rod is long enough that it exhibits significant impedance at the RF that you're working on. and that can get kind of nasty. So you want to make sure that you're worried more about that than worrying too much about the resistance into the ground. Does that help with the question you had, sir? AE0GQ.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. I'm just curious. I am going to be having a ground wire drop. It's from like a tri-level, and the radio room is on, well, kind of like the mid-level. And the drop is going to be about 8 feet to the ground rod. So would you recommend strap? Is there ferrite beads you can put on there that would sort of counteract that, acting as an antenna and radiating? Over.
W0TX repeater.
Do not put ferrite beads because that's going the wrong direction. You want the lowest impedance you can get. So it's not that it's going to be acting as an antenna. I would suggest, if you can afford it, just some simple copper strap, half inch. Some people use copper stranded, which actually has a greater RF carrying capacity, but it also tends to be more expensive. Whatever you do, do not use coax shield that you've stripped off a piece of old coax, because the shield will start falling apart on you real quick. So please don't do that. But remember what you're looking for is because you've got skin effect. In other words, it floats around on the outside of the conductor at RF, and the higher the frequency, the worse it is. You want to make that goes as big a surface area as you can get, but do not put ferrite cores on it. Your idea. What you want to do is you want to have the best RF path to ground that you can get. A0GQ.
Thank you very much for that. WB4HCA.
Perfect. Yeah, great question there, John, and thanks for the follow-up there as well, Tom, A0GQ. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, a lot of grounding conversation here this evening. So, yeah, pretty hot topic. It's always brought up quite a bit, and yeah, good to hear some good ways to deploy that as well. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, we have plenty of time still. If anybody has any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I can bring up a couple things here. We can go back to the game of what's that sound. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, so for the past few weeks we've been playing that game. What's that sound? We've been trying to bring up, been trying to trick people and or stump people and see if they can get it. So last week the week before. Last week, whenever last Learning Net was, we talked about Hellschreiber, Feldheld, and had a pretty good conversation about that. So I'll play that, and then I'll play a new sound for us. Yeah, that was Hellschreiber. It's a teleprinter system developed in the late 1920s by Rudolf Hell, German inventor. It uses on and off keying, uses FSK or DMSK, differential minimum shift keying. So, yeah, there was a few people that were able to capture that. So I will play another noise this week, and it might be a gimme, but we'll see. So stand by. All right, this is K1DBC. I will go ahead and play this audio. And I will play it once more here. I think you all might know it. This is fairly popular. All right, somebody in the chat did get it here, but I will throw it back out to the net. If you think you might know what that is, please let me know. You didn't have to leak that. That's fine. That was it. That was good old FT8.
S.t.e.m. No other takers. It sounded like a sonar ping to me.
Very good guess there. Well, that was a guess. It does sound like a sonar ping. The people on YouTube, I did show it what it was. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. But I'll leave it out till I guess next week. If you feel like you think you know what it is, let us know throughout the net here. But let us know either in YouTube chat comments or on the groups.io. Yeah, it's a fairly popular mode, and I'll leave it at that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. No prizes or anything like that for this. Just pride. But yeah, let us know next week, and we'll do another one. Oh, that's okay. No worries. I spoil it all the time. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. If anybody has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the moment, please call in. At the moment. All right, let's see. I will bring up some information here and throw it back out to the net. Great blog to read if you have any interest in software-defined radio or radio in general, as I'm sure we all do. I don't think you'd be here otherwise, but a lot of interesting stories about, let's see, an article entitled Turning Scrap Wire into an Effective HF Dipole. YouTube channel Frugal Radio channel shows how he turned an old piece of scrap electrical extension cord into an effective antenna for his AirSpy HF Plus SDR. Scrap wires combined with a $15 9-to-1 balun, which helps improve his impedance which improves the impedance of the impedance match of the antenna. He then stretches the dipole out through his backyard and then hooks it up to an AirSpy software-defined radio. Result shows good reception across 20 meter, 80 meter, 40 meter, as well as HF ATC aircraft. So really interesting things here. See another article here. Interesting article. Crimean resident arrested under accusation of spying for Ukraine with software-defined dongles. Back in 2014, Crimea was annexed from the Ukraine by Russian forces. Recently, we've heard that news that Crimean resident was arrested by the Russian Federal Security Service under the suspicion of being a Ukrainian informant who was intending to transfer or was transferring military data abroad using software-defined radios. Video of arrest has been posted online. Photos show the software, SDR Sharp software. So pretty interesting story. Depending on where you live, you know, you may not have as many rights as you think. So yeah, I mean, here in the United States, we're free to listen in on everything, and if it's not encrypted, then that's the issue of the transmitter. But we're allowed to do a lot of research here. I think in the UK, listening is not even allowed sometimes. I don't know. So, yeah, pretty interesting article here.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Plenty of really cool RF-based projects there, so check that site out, rtl.net. sdr.com. Romeo Tango Lima Sierra Delta Romeo.com. I don't have much more at the moment. Field Day was definitely a lot of the focus over the last few weeks here. So, yeah, feel free to check out things online like reddit.com or Facebook. There's plenty of pictures of people's Field Day operations, and yeah, just really exciting to see, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We just had a check-in online. Dan, thank you for checking in, KF0FSY. I guess if anybody else has any other comments, questions, or any other check-ins at the moment, please call now.
W0FFC with a question.
Yeah, W0FFC. Jerry, go ahead.
Jerome, I'm kind of curious because I'm watching you on YouTube at the same time as I'm listening to you on the repeater, and wondering why the YouTube audio is so far delayed. It's like 10, 15, maybe even 20 seconds delayed. Any thoughts? Or is that just a relation of the streaming capabilities?
Good question there. You're the second person to mention that. Yeah, it's a funny comment in here. I don't know. There is in the streaming section for YouTube, there is an option for streaming delay, and I'm trying to use, I believe I'm using the least delay possible, ultra low latency. I don't know. I don't watch it back at the same time, so I couldn't tell you. It should be fairly quick though. I have pretty good internet. Yeah, so I'm not sure, unfortunately, why there's such a delay there. But I think I'm trying to use as much as the option as much as I can to decrease that latency. May need to stop and start the stream, but hopefully it shouldn't be too out of whack. But yeah, 10, 15 seconds. That's too bad, unfortunately.
A0GQ.
Yeah, A0GQ, go ahead.
I actually have some experience about this one. What's going on is your stream is going into a batch of cloud servers to be re-encoded so that it can come out as a 1080, which is what I think you're probably shoving in, but also a 480 and a 720p, all the different varieties of resolutions that people are going to need on their phones and their computers, and how their bandwidth is on their end. And that can take some time to do. Plus, sometimes, I don't know for sure, but YouTube, well, certain video products very often are shipped by way of, if you can believe it, HTTP across the country. Because that they don't have to route multicast traffic, which is what they really don't want to do. So they route it with HTTP, and then put out reconstruct the stream from the packets that are coming over that way. So that can add significantly. Finally, if the servers are busy, then guess what? You get hit.
All right, thanks there for the information there, Tom A0GQ. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm streaming at 1080p, and then YouTube takes that stream and splits it up into lower quality streams. So depending on the bandwidth you have, you can watch it at lower quality. Yeah, it definitely takes some time. I just brought it up, and I just put my finger up in it, and I was watching my stream, and it seemed to come up fairly quickly for me on that. So yeah, I don't know, unfortunately. So. Yeah, there's some interesting things about that. Yeah, a lot of delay potentially on your end or my end, things like that. So, I mean, I have fiber, gigabit fiber internet. I'm on Ethernet, so no wireless. So, but yeah, the way that they ingest the media and redistribute it, unfortunately, takes a little bit of time. So maybe, unfortunately, for live things like this, so using a different radio mechanism as well, it's much more noticeable. Yeah, I'll just clap. Let me know when that happens.
W0FFC again. Jerome, a quick question. What equipment do you have to stream? In other words, basically, how are you streaming?
Good question there. Yeah, so I have another webcam set up so you can kind of see a little bit here. Using dual monitors, wireless keyboard and mouse. Kind of an older computer, like 5 or 6 years old, but it's a Core i7, I believe. Just Windows 10 PC. And then for the software itself, I'm using the software called OBS, Open Broadcast Studio. And it allows me to set up different scenes and different cameras, different things like that. And so this is kind of popular under with game streamers, things like that. So that is the software and the hardware I'm using. What else? I'm using an AT2020 microphone, an XLR microphone with an XLR input for my computer. And then just some wireless headphones. I'm using a webcam that's facing me is kind of just a cheaper action cam, like a GoPro type thing. I'll have to put together a little bit of list because yeah, that sometimes gets asked a little bit. So yeah, good question there. If you have any follow up on that, go ahead. And a green screen.
The question is, where's your ham shack?
Another good question there. Yeah, so I use a FT857D. I'm holding the microphone in my hand, obviously. That unit allows for the head to be detached, so I actually have the base of the transceiver in my basement, and then using an Ethernet cable, 2 Ethernet cables, one for the head unit and one for the microphone. I'm actually able to break those out and bring them up here. So I'll try to show around my the radio equipment itself. Give me a second here. Not a great shot here. Sorry for the people listening. Sorry, I was just showing kind of the head unit. It's kind of pretty simple. There's really not much to it. It's just the head unit itself. I have a pair of speakers, and then just the microphone running over to my my desk here. Another question somebody had is what feeds the 144.48 or the frequency at the bottom of my screen. Let me drop for a moment here. I'm using this program called RC4B by remotehams.com. It has a server, so where my actual radio unit sits, it's plugged into a computer for cat control and audio, things like that. And then I'm able to pipe that into this this program, RC4B. I'm trying to bring this up here.
W0TX repeater.
Where did it go? There it goes. So yeah, what I have on my screen now is the client, and I was able to change the back of that to green screen so that it's transparent on my broadcast. And then the server is just this pretty small program here. It just ties into the radio. I use a signal link for the audio, and then it just pipes things over the internet. So I could use this program over the internet if I wanted, but I mostly just use it in this way here. Yeah, great questions here. Yeah, it's a fairly simple setup, but fairly streamlined for my use. Yeah, don't ever hesitate to ask any questions on that, and I'll try to show more of my. I'll try to get some questions or some photos of my equipment in the basement. Yeah. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now.
W0FFC again. It's amazing how you're able to operate in such a small little area with that head.
Yeah, luckily it's very basic, but I'm sitting in front of my couch on a chair, and I put these screens are actually just on a rolling thing here, so I can just roll this out of the way and put it away, but I also use it for work as well, so a nice kind of compact setup and just mobile use, and yeah, it's worked out really, really well for me. One thing I did forget to mention is I'm using a green screen, this big green circle thing behind me, and that allows me to also make myself, everything around me transparent, so it's just I don't utilize more of the screen than I need to as well. So that was another thing there. So. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I actually had one more thing here. Let me drop for a moment. I didn't see this until it was too late, obviously. Well, it's quite too late. Back in February 24th, JFK High School here in Denver made a contact with the International Space Station. So this was, I think I found this video from the Denver Aries group, Facebook. But yeah, just pretty interesting. I know we're speaking about youth and getting on the air and things like that. So pretty interesting video over on the ARISS, ARISS channel. Amateur radio on the International Space Station, ARISS. You can check that out. All right, we are nearing the end of the net here. No hard stop, but does anybody else have any other comments, questions? Yeah, Tom, I think, has a question here, AE0GQ. Go ahead.
Actually, it's not a question, it's a comment. When you bond your equipment together, don't run it from a wire from your transceiver to your antenna tuner to your, and then run from your antenna tuner to your SWR meter, and then from there to your power supply, whatever. You need to go from your equipment individually to a common point. Don't daisy chain it one to the other, to the other, to the other. That will cause you a lot of problems with a ground loop is what the term is. Different potentials on your equipment. So you need to take the grounding from your equipment to a single point, which the best way probably is just throw a piece of copper pipe behind your desk that you can tie to with short connections. That works out real well. And that's all that I had, Jerome. AE0GQ.
All right, thanks for the comment there, Tom. Yeah, I know I think spoken about that at one point. Yeah, to avoid at all cost daisy chaining, because yeah, you'll have some adverse effects with that, and that's a common mistake. People think that you can get away with that, but yeah, do not daisy chain. Everything needs to go to that central grounding source. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else at the moment? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'm just checking to see if I have anything else here that we can bring up this evening. Yeah, as mentioned earlier on in the net, yeah, we had our field day last weekend. Pretty tired after that. Glad it went really well. Again, we have a YouTube or a Google Drive. I'll put a link here in the chat here. I'll have it sent out to the membership as well. So if you showed up to field day and you took any photos or videos, please don't hesitate to post those online, and we'll try to get a video created. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Pretty rainy, but still operating in the rain. So yeah. I'll ask one last time. Is there any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right. So yeah, we also played What's That Sound this evening. We played a sound of a mode. I'll play it once more here, and let us know in the chat or in the comments, and we'll reveal what it is next week. Again, I did spoil it on YouTube, so if you go watch the video, you'll know what it is. But yeah, no prizes or anything. But if you think you know what that is, let us know next week. I'll drop one last time and see if I have anything else. Otherwise, we might have to start to wrap things up. K1DBC Net Control. Thanks all for being here this evening. We had a pretty good, healthy amount of check-ins, some new calls, and appreciate everyone being here on YouTube as well. Yeah, if you ever want to check out, again, kind of photos and videos that we're talking about and speaking about, it's a good resource. If you can't check in over the air, or if you're not in the Denver metro area, or if you can't reach the repeater, don't ever hesitate to check in online, and we'll get you checked in. Again, that is over on youtube.com /WERE GR8 Whiskey Edward Romeo Edward Golf Romeo 8, as in we're great, or my call sign. You can search for it on there, K1DBC, or the club's call sign W0TX, and you should be able to find it as well. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, with that, I will wrap things up here. Yeah, feel free to check out more info on our club, W0TX.org. Some club business. We'll have our next meeting on July 21st. Presentation topic is really, really cool here. Kit building techniques for success. We've talked about kit building before, and it's a really good way to get into electronics and soldering and just some hands-on things here. So presented by Joe K0NEB. It's going to be a presentation will be on kit building techniques for success. He'll go over how to handle and sort parts, proper solder and soldering tools, and take a look at some of the kits that are appropriate for beginners, intermediate, and experienced builders. He's the current kit building editor for CQ Magazine and has produced the column for 12 years. He's also the current author of Construction Techniques, the Construction Techniques chapter in the ARRL Handbook since the 2014 edition. He's been licensed since 1969 as a life member of Diamond Club. He travels and speaks at numerous hamfests and conventions and put on group building experiences for clubs for very simple kits and more complex kits. His photo here was taken when he was on the set of Last Man Standing, operating out of there. So look forward to that. July 21st, 7 p.m. It all takes place online. You don't need to be a member or ham radio operator. We meet on Google Meets. There's a link on the webpage, as well as at 6 p.m. there's an Elmers session, which is very similar to this, just a general Q&A, show and tell. So feel free to join us for that as well. All right, let's see. We had... let's see here. Yeah, total check-ins 21. Appreciate everyone being here. You can check out more on the Learning Net at groups.io /G/ham Learning Net, or email at us at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We'd like to thank everyone who participated. We especially appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. We invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmers session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7. Again, this all takes place online. At the moment, the Jefferson County Administration course building has not yet opened up for public use or outside of the city of Jeffco, I think. And everyone is welcome to join in on the Google Meet as well. With that, please join us next week at 19:30 hours, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time for the next Learning Net. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, again, thanks everyone for checking things out. Appreciate all the support and everything. So this is K1DBC 7-3. I am clear, and hope to see you all next week. Oh, that doesn't look good. All right, thanks everyone for being here. Yeah, appreciate everyone being on here and checking things out. Appreciate all the check-ins on the and all the nice comments here. So yeah, I'll try to get some photos and videos and compiled from Field Day and get it up on my YouTube, and we'll go from there. So thanks everyone for being here, and everyone take care.
Got the light and it's shining through. They say you're beautiful